If you're planning to immigrate to Canada, you may be wondering when you should start looking for a job. Well, the answer is it depends. Therefore, it's important to plan your transition into Canada and what that's going to look like, especially in the employment side. Now, in this video, we're going to discuss the best ways to strategize your employment during the immigration process, and we're going to cover different considerations for job searches as an immigrant, the Canadian job market, and end with some effective strategies for finding employment. While everyone's employment and immigration situation is unique, there are some universal considerations that come into play when planning your immigration journey. If you're coming through an economic pathway like express entry, it's best to focus all your time and energy in getting everything sorted for your application, getting into the pool, and then getting the ITA or the invitation to apply. Once you're in waiting mode, then that's the time you can start to focus on familiarizing yourself with the job market and strategizing how to find your first Canadian job. If you're looking for a senior level job, you may want to plan that closer to your landing date. Senior level jobs usually have a more thorough vetting process, so it's important to take this into account, as you may not want to apply if you won't be able to fulfill the company's expectations, like having work status. However, depending on how niche and sought after you may be, it may be a good idea to get on the radar of the company or the applicable recruiters in your industry. On the other hand, if you're looking for entry-level or middle management jobs, it's best to wait until you're close to landing. These types of jobs are usually posted when employers are looking for immediate hires, and they may lose interest if you're not already in Canada. Furthermore, these types of positions will usually have more competition compared to senior or specialized jobs, so you're going to need to be available to have a higher chance of getting in on these opportunities. The Canadian job market may be a little different from what you're used to in your home country, and this can vary depending on your industry or location. So it's important to do your research and keep up to date on the latest trends and developments in your field. You can do this by following industry publications and websites and attending networking events and connecting with other professionals in your field. I would suggest doing this as soon as possible, as it's a great way to get an advanced head start. Aside from job searching, networking is a vital component of finding employment in Canada. And depending on your industry, you might want to reach out to some employers and introduce yourself. You can also contact the association for your industry to see if they have any job postings or networking opportunities, and maybe ask for some guidance on how to get started. It's also important to have realistic expectations about the job search process, and depending on your industry and the level of competition, it may take longer than you expect to find a job that's right fit for you. You should be prepared to put in the time and effort necessary to find a job that meets your needs and aligns with your career goals. However, always be open to a transitional job so you can stay in momentum and keep things moving forward. Lastly, and this is a really good piece of advice, if you're in a regulated profession, you may have to go through a thorough and somewhat difficult licensing process, or have that in place before you can start working in the field. That's generally the way it works with a regulated profession. This can take a lot of time, so it's important to plan accordingly and look into the requirements prior to coming to Canada. You might want to get started on this prior to coming to Canada, as it can also save you a lot of time and otherwise shorten your time getting to work in your profession. Again, this is a great strategy, one that I've seen employed successfully for any number of professions and a lot of different people. You should consider this and research this seriously. Now, other things that you should look at is the cost of living in the area and how that will affect you where you plan to live and work, as well as the transportation options that are available to you. You should also think about the types of jobs that are available in your field in that area, as well as potential language barriers that you might encounter. So for instance, French and English are Canada's official languages, so having proficiency in one of these can influence the types of jobs available to you, but having proficiency in both can open up some new opportunities. Geography certainly factors into this as well, as in some cases, if you're not bilingual, that will certainly limit yourself if you're in a very bilingual area. There are a few strategies that you can use to make your job search more effective. One key strategy is to build a strong network of contacts in your industry, both in Canada and in your home country, that have contacts here. In some cases, there are chapters of some professional organizations abroad that might be helpful. This can help you to learn about job openings and get referrals for positions that you might not otherwise be aware of. You can also use online job boards and social media platforms to search out job openings and connect with potential employers. Be sure to tailor your resume or your LinkedIn profile and cover letter to each position you apply for, highlighting your relevant skills and experience. Another strategy to consider, working with a recruiter or an employment agency. These professionals can help you find job openings that match your skills and experience and can provide valuable guidance and support throughout the job search process, especially if you're in demand. They can act as a funnel connecting you to jobs and positions that you may not have known about otherwise or were not advertised. So as you can see, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to the question of when you can start looking or when you should do this during the immigration process. However, it depends on a number of factors, including your industry, your level of experience, personal circumstances. However, doing your research and building your network and staying focused on your goals can increase your chances in finding that job, which is a right fit for you and your career. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you giving us a thumbs up, subscribing, and turning on notifications so that we can connect and keep you posted on all the info you need, not only to get to Canada, but to get off to a great start. We'll see you soon.